first started, I thought, a movie about stained glass? What is this? And then 20 minutes in, I was just absolutely enamored. So thank you so much, guys. Yeah, good to see you guys.
Tim?
Just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Is it okay to have a beer?
That's much.
I'm not going to drink it. I'm just going to.
Good evening.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Also meet Kristine. Where's Kristine?
Yeah, where's Kristine? Come on down. I'm sure, Tim, you need no introduction, but Justin, let's go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Justin Monroe, and I got to film this dude right here for 3 years of his life, which was a pleasure and insane. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Kristine Shafer, and I run Helios Fused Glass Studio, which does fusing here in Austin. Woohoo! Keeping it going.
Well, I have so many questions that I don't even know where to start. Justin, this film captures two artists' contrasting viewpoints on artistry so well. Artist and Tim, you guys definitely had very different viewpoints on that. How did you manage to capture that? And Tim, what was it like being in the moment kind of with Narcissist and discussing your two different viewpoints?
I guess how did I manage to capture it is that I shot every freaking thing that you could possibly shoot. If I told this to any old school filmmakers, they would laugh me out of this theater right now. But because we're in the age that we're in, I can say it. I shot 1,100 hours of footage to make a 2-hour movie. So I just captured everything because I didn't know where this was going to go. I honestly did not know what was going to happen. And listen, a lot of it is crap. I mean, there's probably like 500 hours that are crap, but I knew that this movie had to be verite, and it had to be built on the gold. It had to be built on these intimate moments where they forgot about me. They forgot that I was there. And, it needed to be verite. It could not be a bunch of talking heads. You had to be in Tim's shoes. So that's how I got it. I just shot it.
I guess for me, working with Narcissus was magical. Our relationship was magical in the sense that, I'd never had a mentor in my life. I went through art school. I went through, undergraduate science. I mean, I did all kinds of stuff. And, to meet your mentor when you're 40 years old and he's 72, and to feel like you're connected and you can be honest with each other all the time, to me, that's the essence of a great relationship. It doesn't mean you have to get along all the time, but it means you have to be able to communicate and you have to be able to tell the truth to each other about what you're feeling and what you're doing. And we had that, and it was sort of like a family situation. He reminded me of my grandfather a lot. We had all these very similar aesthetic ideas. We were 30 years age difference, but we both loved the same stuff. The same, the things that inspired us. And so it was just really amazing. And so it made it easy because I could go crazy and I wasn't worried that he was going to walk out on me. And I could tell him that he's being an asshole and I wasn't worried that he could tell me that you're being stupid and young and naive. And, as long as Justin was there to film it, we could make sure that people could see it. But yeah, I had it was just natural, and I just felt lucky to have that time with him.
One of my favorite moments is when the curtains actually open on this window. In that moment, I feel like many filmmakers can relate to that, to where you kind of finally see your art. It's on the screen, and you're seeing it. For you, Justin, how did this, when you're editing this film, did you have many moments of like, holy shit, this is so comparative to filmmaking?
Yeah, man, it's funny how you get lost in the story. It's like, I see it and I lived it. I'm experiencing it differently having watched it, having made it, having shot it. It's surreal. It's really surreal to live it over and over and over again. And I remember different things along the way. But to see it done, because honestly, I was rooting for them. I wanted them to make it. But I knew I had a movie if they didn't. And I did not want, I couldn't do their artwork for them, so I wasn't going to be able to help there. But you get invested in the experience. And so when Tim is sort of looking at his own art, and I'm looking at him, which is my art, I feel like so much of the time Tim was mirroring what I was feeling. I just sort of felt like, oh gosh, okay, here it is. And yet I knew what that meant for him, you know. He had given everything to that. And he was like, I don't know, it's done, it's over. That's kind of how I felt all the time. But I will say this, one experience that absolutely flabbergasted me was, I spent most of my time on the ground filming them when they were doing the Jesus phase, right? And I didn't get a chance to look at it except sort of horizontally, so I couldn't really see it. And they had that perch, they would go up and look down on things. And it was at the end of the experience where they put together the mosaic. I walked up there and I looked down, and it's the first time a piece of art actually took my breath away. I cried, because I had never seen anything like that in my whole life, and I didn't know a piece of art could make you cry. You know, it's just like a thing, right? It's a static thing. And maybe it was because I knew what they went through, but it shocked me. It's amazing to be able to live that. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
That piece of art made me cry a lot too.
For many reasons, I'm sure. So Tim, now that you're watching this film, I'm sure in the moment what you were getting out of it was very different than what you get out of it now. Watching this film now, what are you taking from your own story? Are your perspectives different than it was in the moment?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're a few years past, and my life has changed a lot. You know, not only from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, but from the end of the movie to now. So, the big thing I take from it is that you can make plans and have ideas in one moment, and they can change in an instant. And in the beginning of that film, when he was shooting, I thought I was going to be at Judson Studios forever. I was happy, I loved it, and I was certain of it. I would have bet on it. But by the end of it, I was on my own. And since then, things have changed. And so it's like, I'm so fortunate to have that time, not only for me as a record of my family and my artwork and my relationships, just this amazing stamp that I can always just reference years and years from now, but also to have the lesson, to be able to show to my kids and other people that you might think you know what you're doing, but you really don't. So that's what makes me so happy about having this film, and I'm so lucky that he did such a good job with it, because he just really captured it with music and the cinematography, the whole thing. It just blew me away that he was able to put that together in a way that's just that's very timeless, I think.
And for you, Justin, you mentioned you didn't really know what you were getting to when you first started making this. So what was your impetus to start capturing this story? And then what was the moment where you went, oh shit, I have something way more here?
well, the impetus was, the way I came to be a part of this was I moved from Oklahoma. I'd lived in LA previously, but I moved back there from Oklahoma after having finished a narrative. I'm not a documentary guy at all. And so, and strangely enough, I moved next door to this dude, to this guy. I did not know him at all, never met him in my life. And here I am living next door to him. And we get together and we drink beer like neighbors do and talk about what each other does. And he says, listen, man, you're a filmmaker. We need to make a promo video to go with our pitch because we're competing against 60 companies from around the world, and we need to look cool, man. We need to stand out among these people. And so I was sure I'll come down and I'll shoot this promo. And it was in that I heard about the project, and I really heard about it. And I asked his boss, is anyone filming this? No. I said, can I start now, right now? And he said yes. And I basically said, Tim, if I'm going to do this, I've got to film everything. And he let me in. It just said yes. So but you know, I knew I needed it because I wanted to film the beginning of a thing because that was the nut of the story. Like watching, is Narcissus going to come on? Are they going to get the job? So I knew I needed to capture that. And once those two things happened, I realized, oh damn, I've got years of my life I just committed to this thing. But I was happy, you know. And so that was it. It was just I had to start, and then I knew I couldn't stop. I have a question too, and I want to ask because this is a unique situation. I didn't know how stupid Tim was, and I didn't know how stupid I am, but somebody who understands fused glass at the level you do, how stupid were we? I'm serious. I don't know.
There's a kind of a joke in the fusing world. You're an incredible artist, Tim. Your painting is just absolutely amazing.
Oh God.
But I hear
As a studio owner, we were watching this film going, oh my God, what have you done? How are you ever going to pull this off? And we all know in the fusing world, we have already seen it. We saw it when it happened in 2017. And now to see the film and watch the whole story of it unfolding going, I know this turns out okay, but there's no way this should have worked out.
So really stupid, right? Okay.
I mean, it'd be really cool. What I learned from the film is that I should take on a project that I absolutely cannot accomplish without a world-class artist coming in and helping me and bullseye. So.
Yeah, you just take it on. You know, the great author Ray Bradbury says, you just jump off the cliff and you grow your wings on the way down.
My business partner disagrees with me very much.
As they do.
Question for you, Tim. Have you been back to Judson, or do you still talk to people at Judson every now and then?
Yeah, you know, I still live a mile away from there. It's Narcissus is there all the time. He consults and he pops in to Judson. I think he spends a few months out of every year there. And we work together. You know, there are projects, there are legacy projects that have been going on there that David will call me and say, oh, Tim, you know, these guys want you to do the thing, and I come in, I do the thing. You know, I don't have a huge kiln, so if I need a big kiln, I go over there and use theirs. And so it's actually much better this way, I think, because it's allowed myself and David in their studio to sort of find our own voices. We were together for 15 years. You know, David, when he took over the studio, had only been there a year when I showed up. And so all of the change and all of the growth that happened was him and I together in lockstep. And I think sometimes you got to break up and find your own thing. And that's what I discovered, and I think it's worked out well for both of us. So that's what we wanted. We didn't want it to be something that was like a bitter divorce. We wanted it to be something that is, because like Kristine, our industry is not big, and we all have to root for each other. We all have to work together, and it's exciting because it's not big, but it's passionate. You know, every pound for pound, we are some very passionate and very intense people. So we've got to stay together. Art is all about, sharing and teaching and staying together and staying connected and keeping the fire going. So that's what we're doing.
And then another great thing is the people who watched us in that AFF, we had so many different takes on this. For me, what I took was that we should sacrificing the self for the art is what I really took from this. Was pouring yourself entirely into your artwork. Other people took out from is you need to kind of take care of yourself first, and the art kind of comes from you taking care of yourself. What are your points of view on that? What have you guys taken out of this film, out of your own art?
Man, I love that you guys had that chat. Because that was my question the entire time, and I feel like depending upon who you asked at what time, it changed. And I think the question is, or the answer is, it depends. If you are at your last wit's end, you have to tend to that, or nothing happens. If you are letting fear stop you, you're letting ego stop you, any number of things keep you from rising to the occasion, you don't have a choice. It's on your shoulders.
And it depends. It's very interesting. And I wonder what Narcissus would say. I really do. He's given his whole life to something, but yet I've watched him. He was an enigma to me because I watched him as Narcissus Quagliati. I mean, what a name. I watched him flip the script all the time on me. And what you would expect from that man, he would become very tender and loving and care for the soul. And he has to care for his own soul. I don't know. That's a great question, man. And I'm glad that you asked that because that was my question all the time. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I would say that, being here we are at a film festival and having met a lot of filmmakers, some of them today, and other festivals, it's probably not different than doing a film where it's a dance between what do I need, what does the film need? What do I need, what does the art piece need? And what does my family need? And so I think it's just about balance. That was what it was about for me. It was about balance. Narcissus said, I wouldn't see my family if I were you. Well, he's been divorced 3 times, and he's had lived in 7 different countries or whatever. That's great, that works for him, but for me, I had to be able to step back and look at all of the facets of my life and say, I can't. Yes, I'm going to take this on as a huge challenge. I'm going to work hard, but I'm not going to ignore myself or my needs or my family's needs. And I've seen filmmakers do the same thing, where you have to play that game.
Sorry, I don't want to belabor this, and yet Narcissus's kids, the way they adored him, and what I kept learning lessons from him by him making choices that I felt like, no, that's the wrong answer. You can't do that. That's not what you do as a father. That's not what you do as a man or woman or parent or anyone who's responsible for something. You don't do that. And his kids love him, and they've been so given to. And I asked them, and it's little bits in the film, and he said, when he was with us, he was with us. Because honestly, sometimes when I'm with my kids, a lot of the times when I'm with my kids, I am not with them. I'm not. Oh man, that's it. I said, how do I be with them? And they are now all artists, just like following, not in their father's shadow. He's given them wings. He's taught them to be who they are. And I'm like, wow, he fathered them, though he was gone so much. How did he do that? How did he pull that off? And so balance to me, my understanding of what balance is, was reshaped by him. And I'm not saying to run off from your children, but I thought I knew what the answer was. You had your answer, and I'm realizing it's different than what I thought. Most of life is different than what I thought, and because of this movie. So,
Can I add something that we've figured out is that you don't have to be 100% a parent. You don't have to be 100% all the time. You just have to be 100% when you're with the kids. So maybe 50% of the time when you're with them, you're 100%. And then you get to relax and find that balance that you were talking about.
that's good.
And it comes to the same thing with art, approaching art that same way too. You're 100% you're with the art, and then sometimes you've got to step back and you've got to be fed in other ways in order to continue being creative.
I could ask questions for hours, but I think I have to add. Audience, you have 1 or 2 questions, like how to put over on time. Any questions from the audience for the creation of this film? Yeah, good, right?
First of all, congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
I think you actually captured a really good story here that I haven't seen in film before, because the tension between the master artist and the apprentice artist is actually kind of a cliche almost, right?
Yeah, sure.
Apprentice stories and
Sure, yeah.
But a very common story in business that you almost never see in film is people joining a family-owned company, a multi-generational family-owned company, where there actually is a glass ceiling. You'll never be a partner. You're not allowed. This happens all over the country. And people that grow, they hit that glass ceiling, and they're forced to go sideways and leave.
Yeah.
And so I thought I was watching one movie, and 2/3 of the way through, I was watching a completely different movie where, a brilliant artist is now forced to kind of leave a place he doesn't want to leave because there's no future for him.
Yeah.
Whereas an outsider looking back
Thank you very, very much. To me, I wasn't a stained glass guy at all. Zero knowledge of stained glass. So that's not what drew me to the thing. I just kept seeing all of these. It would be on art. It would be on. It was like art and business and people and the challenge that you face. And I kept seeing myself in it. I kept seeing as a father, all these things. And I wondered about that the whole time because Tim and David were in lockstep. And I thought, and Narcissus said it. He's like, this is going to change all of us, and we don't even know how it's going to change us. And that. I love that connected you because I had hoped that it would lead past stained glass, it would lead past art. I hope that people could see themselves in this experience and go, "Oh, I've been there. I'm a doctor. I work at an architecture firm. I work in an office, and I know what it is to be in this situation when I'm bitten off more than I can chew, or I can't. There's nowhere for me to go, or whatever." That really means a lot to me. That connected you like that. Thank you for saying that.
There are whole classes in some graduate schools, business schools on multi-generational businesses. We should be acquiring human knowledge. Every highlight, every French highlight that they typically see across hundreds of businesses was here. Just
Wow, interesting. That's awesome. Thank you for saying that, man. I really appreciate that a lot.
Okay, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for showing us what you guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Tim, for sharing your art with us. We absolutely love it.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Kristine, for sponsoring, and for Helios and everybody there.
She's awesome, by the way. Go see her out there because she is freaking dynamic.
We're keeping fusing alive.
Vote in the Audience Award ballots. We have ballots for you outside of the door. Please vote in the Audience Award series. Thank you.